Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Off the Print. Today with me is SJB parliamentarian Harin Fernando, who is seated with us just weeks after going through extensive heart surgery. So we are privileged to have him here, and we will be discussing about the state of affairs in the country and the state of the opposition. Mr. Fernando, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
I started the introduction saying that you're obviously with us after a little bit of a health issue. It's glad to have you back, but how are you?
Well, actually, I think it's a good experience I have had in very early stages of my life. Most people go through this after their 50s or late 50s, but I've got it in my early 40s.
Okay.
However, I think it's a blessing in disguise that I realize what common man also faces when surgeries like this happen. I checked on with Badul, I checked on in different areas, how much of a queue queues up. So I honestly feel privileged that I got the opportunity to recover fast and got the best medical advice. Luckily, I paid it off with my insurance.
Okay.
So I always believe that every citizen in Sri Lanka should be insured, and I have a plan for that one day if we get the opportunity to do it.
Okay.
Like in abroad, where everybody will have access to any medical facility they want. So depending on their job and scale, that could be done. It's very possible. Okay,
so very surprisingly, your ailment was detected when you were in hospital evading arrest over the Easter Sunday attacks. So seems like you owe a great big thank you to the President of the country.
I say thank you to my Lord and the God, and I still carry a rosary from that day onwards. So I believe there was a God's blessings to identify, and twice I went through it. Once was in April, and then again in late September. So both times he saved me. So for me, it's a miracle, and I thank God for that.
Well, you're back in the political arena, so let's get serious now. We are seated at a time when the Rajapaksa popularity has severely declined because we are facing a soaring cost of living. Essential items like gas, milk powder, have become a luxury item for the common man in this country, and you all are the opposition. What's going on?
Well, to start off with, I think the government didn't really realize what they were walking into. It's after the COVID pandemic, as well as after the country was just about to get back after the Easter bombing and the country was getting up to normalcy. There were a lot of expectations of the people, but I think the Rajapaksa government missed up on one thing, because I figure the whole Viyakmaga concept failed, and as well as the president. So they did not understand the bureaucracies of this country. They did not handle it properly, I would say, as much as I would say Mr. Rajapaksa, Mahinda Rajapaksa did much better.
Because he is a well-experienced politician who has led the nation before as well.
So I feel that there is a bit of a difference within the family and within the government, and which is clearly evident right now, and nobody can criticize the government.
What do you mean within the family? Let's just touch a little bit more on that.
Well, I mean, if you really look at it, I mean, there's few of the family who holds majority of the positions in Sri Lanka, but it does not look like they coordinate each other's work. And also, I felt that the president's failure was due to trusting few of his people who were not in the system, who were not politicians. So I would say even there's a bit of a bubble that has been created with the JVP, which is a party that I really adore and love, because I think they're very straight, they're very honest. But it also could be a bubble if you bring in lots of people who are non-political people, like the Viyakmaga. This concept could fail again. So therefore, it should be a good balance between professionals, politicians, and a few, I would say, social services people. So
which you feel this government has failed with?
I bought up the fail, and I would gladly take ownership of creating this whole slogan as fail.
Yes.
But then I would say whether SJB took that opportunity, that's a question mark. So,
Mr. Fernando, you yes, you're right. You brought up this slogan saying "Sir failed," but can't we sort of say even SJB failed at the moment?
Yeah. So I would say that we failed on one main key aspect of going directly, or our leadership and few others should have gone directly at the president, and that's where AKD scored his marks, because he went at the Rajapaksas, he hunted them down, and then he gave all the statistics of what exactly they have been doing.
Okay.
So I would say as an opposition, it is very crucial that we have a very good teamwork. It
Okay.
should not be a one-man show, but SJB should be identified as an entire team, an entire policy that we bring into the people.
You're telling me that, but why can't you tell your people that?
Well, SJB is really a new party, as you know.
How new, Mr. Fernando? Because I've heard this from several SJB MPs. They keep coming here and telling us we are new, we are new, but you're not new anymore.
Why we say we're new is our leadership is new.
Okay.
Thinking patterns are new, and our policy for the party is going to be new.
Okay.
And the stand of certain matters with regards to national security, economics, development is new. So maybe we were at the process of, maybe the leader and few others were at the process of getting this all together, because it was just 1 month before election we formed the party, we moved in with another party and we took it over. So there were quite a lot of things that we had to go, but we are very happy with the 54 that we retained in Parliament. And I think we are forced to be reckoned with so far of what we have done. But we could do a lot more, and I would agree on that. But having said that, I would still say what I would like to see SJB is, it's not just one person party, but it is a whole set of new people. Experience, there are a few experienced and there are a few youngsters. So it's a good balance, and I think the traditional UMP baggage, the SJB is not carrying on with whatever the corruption issues. None of us who are right now at this JB are accused of any corruption at the previous government or the Ahapalni. So that's why we say we are new, and there are a few things that we are still having to brush up, but I think we have to do it fast, otherwise we are going to fail.
Fine, your ideas are fantastic, but you are obviously coming from a former government. And the reason why you all were voted out is because you all failed. People saw you all fail, especially where the Easter Sunday attacks were concerned. That was a huge blow on national security. So what new can you come and give us now? Especially where national security is concerned, because people, frankly, Mr. Fernando, don't trust you all.
Actually, when it comes to the Easter Sunday bombing, I mean, I don't have the liberty to say certain things because I'm not inside Parliament. Some people say that I take the parliamentary privileges, but I'm somebody who have gone through with the whole drama of going to get arrested under PTA, having to go into the hospital, then getting sick, all of these whole scenarios. But still today, we have asked very, very pertaining questions with regards to Easter Sunday, and that has not been answered. Today, His Eminence the Cardinal also keeps on asking these questions, because there's a serious amount of doubt that have been created of what exactly took place at the Easter Sunday bombing.
Who are you asking these questions to?
We asked it in Parliament from the relevant minister, asked him to answer us on the
But why should he answer? He was not in power when this happened. Isn't it you all who were in power when it happened?
What I said is there is a mastermind. The lapse of maintaining the security, now today the former president is one of the main accused, first accused. So Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, myself, we all went into the commission, but we were not charged because there was no evidence. I was one of the biggest people who got the brunt of it on social media, etc. Trying to be very honest to say, my father knew, and then that whole fiasco
that's still
happened.
Being remembered up to date.
And that and the balloon is my biggest two stories. I think people remember. But I'm still happy today that I said that, because that's when people, even though they took the bug out of me or whatever, the Mickey out of me, I would say, but the real tragedy is that the Sri Lankan police and the CID as well as the investigations officers knew about this attack. So I tried to simplify it by saying, you know, a sick person in a Navaloka ICU bed knew it, how come the police didn't know, but this whole thing was twisted to me. So I would say this national security also, that's why we keep on saying there is a mastermind who got the benefit of the election within few months. And he was endorsed because of this. The Christians were very worried and they were very disturbed about the whole incident, and we had to face it, and that's why we lost. I think if not for the Easter bombing, we could have still scraped through, but I'm thinking it's a blessing in disguise to not have won, because now we can see the whole amount of it. And I would always say, I believe in religion, I believe in what I would say, if somebody has done something wrong, it turns back and coming back. So I see that's what's happening to this government right now.
We're just going to go in for a short break. We will be right back. Welcome back to After Print. Today with me in discussion is SJB parliamentarian Harin Fernando, who is giving us an update about the state of affairs in the opposition and the state of affairs where the government is concerned. Mr. Fernando, before we went in for a short break, you gave us an explanation about the Easter Sunday attacks and where you admitted that you all had failed.
Absolutely.
But now, as you said, you all are in opposition. People have a little bit of hopes that the opposition will now become a little vocal because the country is literally on fire due to the failures of the government and due to being unable to take up the burden, which is the cost of living.
Right.
But people somehow don't seem to be having too much of faith on Sajid Premadasa, who has been dubbed on social media as a figure who seems to be enjoying his lavish life in Yala and not doing anything more than that. What do you think? Shouldn't Sajid Premadasa be performing better as an opposition leader?
It's a tough question. As I say always, people are trying to identify SJB as Sajid Premadasa. It is not. I mean, if you have followed on last Wednesday, the press briefing about the current economy and how we can overcome it was performed by Harsha De Silva, Iran Vikramaratne and Kabir Hashim, who are our three heads on economic affairs. So what I see, I mean, I'm very open about a lot of things, and I speak with my leader. Unlike the former office, we have the liberty of talking directly to the leader and pointing out his differences. As a human, I would say Sajid Premadasa has one hobby. Lots of us has various kind of hobbies. I would like to spend watching a rugby match. I would like to spend my time with my dogs. Those are hobbies. But what Sajid Premadasa's hobby is, he likes to go into the jungle. It's not being lavish, but it's a very animal and animal welfare sort of a thing. See, when you look at Sajid Premadasa, lots of people identify him as a welfare president because he likes to give things. He likes to be that welfare, sorting out the welfare. But that's where I think the communication of SJB has to change. And communication, we have an issue. The last Yahapalana government also lost purely because of communication. Why Gotabaya Rajapaksa won was because of their peak on their communication. They knew what to say. They had all the coverage. And unfortunately for Yahapalana or SJB, we are limited to one or two channels who give us priority. I mean, I'm banned in many channels. I only have one channel that backs me or at least puts one of my voice cuts. So it's very difficult. I mean, we need to know where we stand. So I think even for Sajid Premadasa, people still wouldn't have identified him as the key successor. But I would like to see Sajid Premadasa being the leader, and there will be different faces for that leadership. And I also believe SJB should look at a common platform, and that's my personal opinion. What
do you mean by common platform? I think you need to elaborate a bit.
I would say the common platform right now today that I would like to see is that all parties getting together. Because
is it including the SLPP?
Well, some of the good people are the SLPP who would have the, I would say, the backbone to get out, walk out and call a spade and stand out. And that would be a common platform. There are a lot of people who criticize the government being in the government, but when it comes to a vote or making a decision, they have not been doing so. But I mean, having said that, I would say it's a matter of time. These people will come out, but we as SJB should set the platform. So I think what we should be busy doing right now is formulating a different angle onto sorting out the economy and having a different plan, different strategy, plus a platform where everybody is included. Because I mean, people are fed up about two parties governing. It's from one side to the other side. So people are expecting, what if we go for the third party? But it's quite tragic if that split makes way for the current government still to stay in power. So a common platform should be all leaders, should be in the mind of all leaders of the opposition. So if one says that, oh no, I can have power by myself, I would say it's wrong. being an SJB. I would say I would like Sri Lanka to see with a national policy. What matters right now is not who is the leader, but the national policy. What Sajid Premadasa will do for the country, getting all the other opposition parties together and formulating a policy for the next 10 years.
We hear that the SJB is already in talks with certain members of the government, and plans are afoot already to form this common platform, because we obviously are hearing reports of a split in power within the cabinet, within the SLPP. Are you all in talks with the government?
Yes, so I trust my leader to do so. I'm being open as...
Are you all in talks with the government?
In silos, yes. So not very official, but a lot of people are very disgruntled, and they keep talking to us a lot of matters of how we should form this
common
national common platform. And what I would like to see, as I told you, is with my sickness, what I learned about a Badula person having a heart attack, he will have to stay on a queue to do an angiogram. We do not have these facilities, even though we have free health, free education. Our education has run out. It is not with par with the world. We are so far behind. So these are policies we need to make and see how we look at Sri Lanka in the next 10 years. How do we grow? So it's not merely, it's a huge challenge. 2 years we have lost. Kids' lives have 2 years gone behind. So there's a lot of a common goal that has to be achieved. So I would rather want to see, even me, not being SJB, but being a citizen who is willing to have a country for my children, because lots of people are leaving the country.
We're just going to go in for a short break. We will be right back. Welcome back to Off the Print. Mr. Fernando, so before going in for a break, you were discussing that obviously there's plans of a common platform being formed with members of the present government as well, and we may be seeing this common alliance contesting the future election. You obviously have not divulged to us the name as yet of who the main candidate for that platform will be, and I think you've explained that quite well. But will we see the SJB inviting the UNP as well, because you all split, because you all did not get along with Ranil Wickremesinghe?
Well, actually, I have always said that deep down I am a UNP. And that's where I started my politics, and I would never say, I have not learned anything from that party. Well, even the leadership struggle that was there was one of the biggest lessons that I learned. So I would say, people do mistakes, people learn from those mistakes, and it is time for everyone to call truce and just make up,
But do you all think you all can work with Ranil Wickremesinghe?
So the problem is Ranil Wickremesinghe have been giving us lots of promises in the past about handing over leadership to youth, etc., but it had never happened. We've never asked Ranil Wickremesinghe to leave the position, even when we were fighting the last battle or the struggle for leadership. What we said was for him to be a patron or a mentor, so we could change the constitution. We could have done that easily, and could have given way to young people to lead the party in his guidance. So I still think there is enough opportunity, because I still don't see that's happening in UMP. Even if some of us want to go back to UMP, and there should be a way, there should be a change inside UMP for us to go back and join. I'm not saying that I'm going to go, and I need to correct a question. You asked me, who do I see as the next leader for the country? It's wrong of me if I say it is not Sajid Premadasa who is the opposition leader, but I do understand there's a lot more to be done before achieving that goal. He has to be accepted widely.
He has to be then accepted by this common platform who you keep talking about, isn't it?
So that's a challenge that is in front of him. And I am certain I'm the vice chairman of the party and the head of operations. So we have a common agenda, and I think one thing that we all need to see is about Ranjan's release, and we are working a lot on that. It's 12 months for the 12th of January. That's 1 year. It's a harsh punishment. What we say is we are not challenging the verdict, but it's a harsh punishment when we have so many other culprits, 76 odd, who have got pardons and released. So I think that Ranjan deserves it as well. So we are trying to make a national campaign about his release. And these are things that common platform can join into. So there are lots we can do about the cost of living, about these particular malpractices that keep happening, and,
Right.
and then no transparency and no credible information or transparency when it comes to tenders or whatever the decisions that are being made inside the cabinet. So therefore,
Right.
these are things that a common platform could easily do. We can surely take Ranil Wickremesinghe's advice.
When do we see this common platform coming up? Obviously, we are short of time. We are only 3 years left.
I think it's a need of the hour. I mean, we should not delay.
Are we going to see something happening this year?
Most certainly. I think
Are we going to
certainly.
see a split in the government where people are going to leave them and come to you all, and you all are going to execute this common platform this year?
You can clearly see it. And while I was driving in, I heard the former president, who is a member of that government, who is a front row seated MP, clearly saying this government has completely lost its way.
So that means the SLFP is going to be part of your common platform, is it?
Well, see, a common platform is for common causes, not to win an election. But the common causes, we fight the common causes.
Okay.
It is a policy, it's a policy making thing, body. And then we will have to contest the election at that right time.
Right.
But let's say we have to take a caretaker government, or this government fails, we go into a recession. How do we sort the people out of this country? We have to feed these people. So how does the international relationships of this common platform will be accepted? So those are things that we really see is the need. And
which we will be seeing this year?
Of course, I think the next couple of months would be very crucial.
Okay.
I think Sinhalese New Year, by Sinhalese New Year, Sri Lanka will have a massive shortage of food.
Yeah.
I used to be in Badulla, Haputale, Valimada. Those areas none have cultivated because they didn't have the fertilizer. April will be a time we would not have food. So that is quite critical. And as you can see, the government is splitting up already. So I mean, members of Parliament attacking ministers, ministers attacking members. So I mean, opposition actually has nothing to do but then form this platform and form the policy. So which is what I would say in respect to, due respect to Sajid Premadasa, he is working with some good brains right now with some strategy, and he can present it to the common platform, and then that way he might be the leader of the common platform.
Mr. Fernando, my final question to you. There were talks that when you all were contesting the presidency back in 2019, Sajid Premadasa was obviously the presidential candidate, but there were talks that you were going to be his prime ministerial candidate. What are we going to see Harin Fernando doing in the coming months, coming years?
I always don't want to be in a high position, but I want to be a person who is the guy controlling the president and the prime minister. So I rather remain there under the radar.
This is exactly why I asked you whether you were going to be heading this common platform.
I would love to be under the radar, because I would say there should be a man like that. I mean, I think the success of the last government, people were saying it was Basil. But Basil now has become the finance minister, and now he's on the spotlight. I'd rather be not on the spotlight, but work behind the president or the prime minister that is appointed to make sure what I believe and what I promised is achieved. So I would rather be happy there.
So that means you have a lot of work coming up.
Yeah, anyway, I'm thinking I just want to go at another term, and I would really consider moving there, because I've been thinking about personal politics. I want 60 to be a retirement age for the new coming politicians, basic education, at least A levels before coming into parliament. So those are things that I believe in my concept that I will put forward for this common platform of how politics should turn. So then by 60 I can retire. So, and I think that's a brilliant way. See, in other countries, Sajid Premadasa said I am stupid to say that, but I counted him. In Joe Biden's case, there are preliminaries in the country, and people select even beyond age. He should be the candidate, running candidate. But in Sri Lankan constitution of the parties, it doesn't happen like that. He remains a leader. He remains always the leader. So I think there should be certain changes. And I want to see somebody normal who went to school, who likes politics, coming to this country, studying, and then being the president of the country. Right.
Mr. Fernando, I'm going to let go of you there with a very small comment of my own. When politicians come into high positions, probably prime ministerial positions, ministerial and presidency, they forget that what their age of retirement is, which we are seeing at this moment of time. So we hope you stand by your word that it's 60 and you're gone.
I hope we both live till 60.
Of course we will. We both will be living. Thank you very much for joining me on the program. We will be back again with a brand new episode of Off the Print next Tuesday at 9:30. Goodbye and good night.